Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So Manchester United are closing in on the signing of Ousane Dembele from Barcelona. The main explanation for this is because Barcelona are closing in on a replacement. They are getting Memphis Depay from Lyon for around 25 million with add-ons included, and I think he's going to sign a 5-year deal with Barcelona. I think this was actually agreed a while back. And Fabrizio Romano, who is a very reliable Italian journalist, he said now that Ousane Dembele will be sold. So we have been in advanced negotiations with Barcelona regarding Ousane Dembele. Now, Ousane Dembele's preference recently was to stay at Barcelona and fight for his place. It also recently said that we had no intentions of getting Ousane Dembele permanently. We inquired about getting him on loan. I think he probably would cost us in the region of around £50 million. Ousane Dembele has enjoyed around 3 years or so at Barcelona, has made 75 appearances in all competitions, still got a contract with Barcelona until 2022. Barcelona got him in a deal worth 135 million from Borussia Dortmund back in 2017. My only element of concern about Ousane Dembele is that he is injury prone. He was also an unused substitute in Barcelona's 1-1 draw with Sevilla recently. Barcelona have let a few of their players go not so long ago. They let Arturo Vidal go. They also let Luis Suarez go. I think they're obviously looking to offload Philippe Coutinho. There's obviously been rumours of Antonio Griezmann leaving. But Ousane Dembele is one of the alternatives we are looking at to Jadon Sancho. Now, Paul Pogba has recently been talking with Ousane Dembele, trying to convince him to come to Manchester United. Fabrizio Romano has already confirmed that Ousane Dembele said no to a loan move to Liverpool. I think he turned down a move to Juventus last year permanently. He is only the age of 23, he can play on the left wing and he can also play on the right wing. And also can play as a striker. So that's the breaking news on him. Don't forget it is transfer deadline day today. Now, I just want to delve into some news on Jadon Sancho. So, according to reports, Jadon Sancho has been spotted in England. He said he could still possibly complete a transfer deadline day move to Manchester United. But I'm going to fully disregard Sancho coming to Manchester United. I don't think it's going to happen. Recently, Ed Woodward had submitted a £110 million bid. He said we'd offered around £95 million. This will be paid in instalments of £19 million. And he said we offered an extra £15 million, reflecting on what Sancho achieves at the football club. Now, Sky Sports did say last week that we had a £91.3 million bid turned down for Sancho. We'd offered £73 million up front with around £18 million in add-ons. Borussia Dortmund have already confirmed that they won't let Sancho go for anything less than £108 million. Borussia Dortmund's asking price has been the stumbling block throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, hasn't it? It did fuel speculation up though recently because Sancho was left out of Borussia Dortmund's squad for their game against Freiburg recently. Apparently he was out with illness. He was also withdrawn from Dortmund's squad in Dortmund's game against Bayern Munich in the German Super Cup. Michael Zorg, Borussia Dortmund's sporting director, he has said several times that Sancho is not leaving and he will be staying at Dortmund for this season. Sebastian Kehl, Dortmund's head of football, he also confirmed it. Lucien Favre, Borussia Dortmund's boss, also confirmed that he will be staying. But it's actually said that Sancho has agreed personal terms with Man United. He's agreed a contract worth around 340 grand a week. But Solsjaer has been very infuriated over this Jadon Sancho deal. It's gone on for so long now. I think we must have been in for him for like the last 3 years. He's obviously been our #1 priority target. But I thought Sancho to Man United was dead in the water around 5 weeks ago, because Dortmund obviously said to us that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho decided to go out on pre-season. Then it had mentioned we'd abandoned our chase for the player until next summer. I think Sancho's a good player, but I just don't think he's worth what Borussia Dortmund are demanding. There's much cheaper solutions than him. This is Jadon Sancho's 4th season with Dortmund. I think he's got a contract with Dortmund, is it till 2022 or 2023? Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Man City. And if he stays at Dortmund, which I think he's gonna, if he performs well this season, next summer, Dortmund will want more than £108 million. If we'd have signed Sancho, he obviously would have been our next number 7. And we know that he'd fulfill number 7 well. We've obviously got number 7 vacant at the moment. Borussia Dortmund have let quite a few of their big names go in recent years, though, haven't they? They let Aubameyang go, Christian Pulisic, Ukwan Gundogan, Mkhitaryan. Shinji Kagawa left them at one point. Ousane Dembele, Robert Lewandowski, Matt Hummels. They've all left Borussia Dortmund, haven't they? So that's the breaking news on Sancho. As I updated you this morning, Manchester United have completed the signings of Edinson Cavani and Alex Telles. To be fair, they are 2 good signings for Manchester United. Edinson Cavani has signed a 2-year contract with the football club worth £200,000 a week. So he's going to be one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. I think now Edinson Cavani has completed his medical. But we have got him on a free transfer. Obviously, Edinson Cavani left PSG earlier on in the summer. Edinson Cavani did endure 7 seasons with PSG. Scored 200 goals in 301 games in all competitions. When PSG got him in 2013, they paid around €64 million for him from Napoli. Edinson Cavani has got 50 goals in 116 internationals for Uruguay. I think he was on around 200 grand a week when he was at PSG. Edinson Cavani will be the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic without a doubt. There's a few shirt numbers he could fulfill at Manchester United. Don't forget number 7's vacant. Maybe he could get given the 19. Maybe he could get given the number 27. But now it will provide competition for Anthony Martial. I think, Cavani could be making his debut for the club in the game against Newcastle after the international break. But really, getting a striker wasn't a priority, was it? Like I've said, Man United have got to get a right winner in. We desperately need a centre-half because defensively we are abysmal. We need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire. We have got around 7 centre-halves in our team, but hopefully we can offload a few centre-halves before this window shuts at 11 o'clock tonight. And we've also got that left-back in now, which is good news. We've got Alex Telles for around 15.4 million. Well, actually, some reports say a fee of around 18 million has been agreed. Alex Telles, I think, has signed a 4-year contract with the football club with an option of a further year. I thought at one point, though, we weren't going to get him on the board because Porto were saying that they wanted around £18 million. We were refusing to meet that asking price. At one point, we was only willing to pay like £12 million. So us and Porto were around £6 million a part of the valuations. And Sky Sports have just said, Porto wanted now around £22 million. But we have, it said yesterday from the BBC that negotiations were at an advanced stage. Now, obviously, Telles will be our first choice left back. Luke Shaw will probably drop out now, to be honest with you. I thought Tellez endured, he endured a few good years at Porto, didn't he? I think he scored around 21 goals in 127 games for Porto. He must have been there a good 4 years or so. Obviously, before he was at Porto, he was at Inter Milan, had a loan spell with them. Before that, he was at Galatasaray. When he was younger, he played for Grêmio and Juventude, and he is the age of 27. So that's now 3 signings Manchester United have made in this summer transfer window. Donny van der Beek, Edinson Cavani and Alex Tellez. So, yeah. Now, I think Ed Woodward, the Glazers and Matt Judge have failed Ole Gunnar Solsjaer and Manchester United. Obviously, there's a lot of Manchester United fans that are demanding the board out. Solskjaer has revealed quite a few times throughout the course of this summer transfer window that he's been very infuriated with the board. Main explanation is over the lack of transfer business. But we've been very critical of the board for several years because obviously our recruitment policy has been very, very poor. We've overpaid for players. I think the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't been backed enough. And I don't think Solskjaer has been backed enough in this summer transfer window. And like I've said to you before, he does deserve more backing as Manchester United manager because he's publicly admitted that we've got to obviously spend money. I think the biggest culprits are the Glazers because the Glazers are the ones that recommended Woodward in and they also recommended Matt Judge in. Woodward's been with us around 8 years, the Glazers have been with us around 15 years, and Matt Judge has been at the club around 7 years. He's been a transfer negotiator since 2016. But actually, Solskjaer's recently blamed our former managers Mourinho and Van Gaal for the lack of signings. Solskjaer's also come out and said that we could still get a director of footballing. To be honest with you, it would be very beneficial if we could get a director of footballing because that's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. And we need someone to join Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's structure. But if we are to get a director of footballing, we need someone who knows the club inside out. We need someone who's obviously got that experience. We've been in the process of trying to get a director of footballing since the Jose Mourinho era. But yeah, we could make 1 or 2 more signings before this window shuts tonight. So that is a positive from a Manchester United perspective. Solskjaer has spent a good £250 million now since he got recommended in to Manchester United. He's also got rid of a lot of players since he got recommended in. And to be honest with you, for the vast majority of this summer transfer window, departures have proven to be difficult, not only bringing players in. The 2 recent players to leave Manchester United was Diego Dalot. He went out on loan to AC Milan. And Andres Pereira, he went out on a 1-season loan with Lazio. We let the likes of Lukaku go last summer. We let Herrera go. They're 2 players that Manchester United should have kept. We obviously let Darmian go. We let Valencia go. We let Ashley Young go. We let Fellaini go. We let Angel Gomez go. Don't forget, we loaned Chong out. We loaned Dylan Levitt out. I think we loaned Joe Pereira out again for another season. But there's still more players that we're looking to get rid of before this window shuts tonight. Smalling, Jones and Rojo could have all left the football club by the time the window shuts tonight. So that'll be a positive. Lingard, we've been trying to get rid of him. Romero, it said, he's open to leaving the football club because obviously, Romero is now our 3rd choice goalkeeper because Dean Henson recently returned. I said if we was to sign a white winner, then we'll probably get rid of Daniel James. It recently said that Solskjaer's prepared to sell Daniel James for around £25 million. Leeds United are the ones that have been interested in James. Don't forget, back in January 2019, Leeds came very, very close to getting James. But obviously Swansea pulled out right at the final hurdle. So we got him last June, James, for around £18 million. James signed a 5-year deal with us with an option of a further year. You know? I think that Ole Gunnar Solsjaer is now under serious pressure at Manchester United. And I think, he could end up getting sacked by the football club. Probably is one of the favourites now to be sacked. Now, like I said to you on my recent video, Solskjaer is to blame for some of the inconsistency because, like I've mentioned before, in a lot of his games at Manchester United, he's been very tactically naive and definitely seems clueless and he's definitely out of his depth. But also, players have got to take responsibility because there's players at Manchester United that are, quite frankly, not good enough, innit? You've obviously got De Gea. He's no longer good anymore. And De Gea shouldn't be our number one this season. He's been our number one for several years. In De Gea's last 3 games, he has conceded 11 goals. This season's David De Gea's 10th season at the football club. And like I've said to you before, I think he's probably had around 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United, because in the last couple of years he's been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. So De Gea won't leave obviously now, but I think he'll leave. He could leave next year, could De Gea. Despite his inconsistency, we'd still get more than the 18-odd million that were paid for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. But Solskjaer should put Dean Henderson as number one, because Dean Henderson, in these last 2 games, he has kept 2 clean sheets, hasn't conceded any. And he's reliable enough now to become our number one goalkeeper. Dean Henderson has obviously got that experience behind him. Wan-Bissaka, he's had a poor start to this season. I don't think we'll sell Bissaka. Obviously, we'll keep him at least for another couple of seasons, obviously. For the vast majority of last season, Bissaka did well. But towards the end of last season, poor. Start of this season, poor. He has no attacking intent whatsoever. And, that's what Wan-Bissaka's lacking at the moment. But I think most of the time, his defensive contributions always been very, very good. This season is Wan-Bissaka's 2nd season at the football club. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. Now, Victor Lindelof, I don't think he's good enough to represent Manchester United. He's had an abysmal start to the season. Don't forget, he was accountable for all of Crystal Palace's 3 goals in the opening day defeat as well. He's nowhere near on the level as Harry Maguire. Obviously, Bay's playing more regularly now this season, so Lindelof, may find game time difficult anyway. Lindelof's had some good games as a Man United player. He's enjoyed around 3 years or so at the football club. We got Lindelof back in 2017 from Benfica for around £30 million. Harry Maguire, I don't think he's good enough at the moment. He hasn't had a good start to this season, really. Don't forget, the other month got arrested in Greece as well. Got a suspended sentence. Solskjaer said, Harry Maguire will remain Manchester United captain this season. Like I've said to you before, I don't think he's good enough to captain the team. We should give the captaincy to Bruno Fernandes, because he's the one that has made the impact. And Bruno Fernandes is the best signing we've made, probably under Solskjaer, and one of the best signings we've made since Alex Ferguson retired. That's one admission I'm going to make. We overpaid for Maguire, we got him in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. So he's the 2nd most expensive sign at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. You got Luke Shaw. Hasn't had a good start to this season. There was improvements in his game last season. But anyway, my element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. He's just recently recovered from an ankle injury. Luke Shaw's going to drop out of the team now anyway, because Tellez is obviously incoming. Williams could even be put as 2nd choice left back, or don't forget Williams can also play as a right back. Because he's actually predominantly right footed. But I still think we'll keep Luke Shaw for now, even though Tellez is incoming. Luke Shaw, by the way, was lucky not to be sent off yesterday in the 6-1 defeat to Tottenham, like I forgot to mention. Fred, I think there's a lot of Manchester United fans that are now starting to think, he's not good enough to represent the club. Fred doesn't really get a lot of chances now, does he? Because since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, his appearances have been limited. I thought in some games last season, Fred did quite well. He still looks better than he did when he was under Mourinho. But there again, never really got a lot of chances under Mourinho, did he? We got Fred for £52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk in the summer of 2018. Got him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window, didn't we? But recently, Fred just being off the boil, gets dispossessed too easily. He's been giving the ball away recently as well. Paul Pogba, he's had a really, really poor start to this season for Manchester United. Apart from the Brighton game when he came on and scored that fantastic free kick in the cup, but prior to that, very, very poor. There's a lot of Man United fans that don't think he's good enough for us. And yeah, we overpaid for Paul Pogba because we paid 89 million for him. So as it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing. Obviously, it said the other week that we've been in talks over getting Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the club. Maybe we won't do this now. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Towards the end of last season, though, to be fair, was quite good. His combination with Bruno Fernandes was good. This is Pogba's 5th season since he rejoined the club from Juventus in 2016. For the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on him because he was out with that ankle injury. But Pogba sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. Matic, he hasn't had a great start to the season, to be honest with you. I thought towards the end of last season he put some good performances out. I still think Matic will stay at the club for at least this season. He's in his 30s now, is Matic. Not so long ago, signed a 3-year deal with Manchester United. Matic has been at the club now 3 years or so. Got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Scott McTominay, he's been poor recently, as McTominay. He really, really has. Weren't good when he came on yesterday. He weren't that good in the Brighton game in the Carabao Cup. Despite that, he got his name on the score sheet. McTominay for me is just too safe with the possession. Too safe with the possession. And I think his positioning's been poor recently. But I still think he'll stay with us for now at least. Not so long ago, McTominay signed a 5-year deal with the club, didn't he? Donny van der Beek, he's made a fantastic impact since we got him in. He's done well in most of his games he's played in so far. He weren't too good though when he came on yesterday. There was question marks around Solsjaer, why didn't he start Donny van der Beek? Donny van der Beek has not yet made his full Premier League debut for the club. We obviously got Donny van der Beek in a deal worth 40 million. He signed a 5-year deal with Manchester United with an option of a further year. He currently wears the number 34 shirt. Bruno Fernandes, he's been exceptional since he came in. He's been at the club now almost a year, Bruno Fernandes, because we got him in January from Sporting Lisbon. Last season, won St Matthews Player of the Season. He also won. He's won Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times, hasn't he, Bruno Fernandes? A lot of his goals, to be fair, have come from the penalty spot, so everyone's calling him Fernandes instead of obviously Fernandes. Marcus Rashford, we'll obviously keep him. I think he's the foreseeable future for Man United, is Marcus Rashford. He's been at Manchester United now around 15 years as Rashford, hasn't he? Because he's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's now 22, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Maybe there's still aspects of his game that have got to improve. Marcus Rashford, don't forget, hit the post yesterday against Tottenham. That's probably the best chance we had in the whole game. Rashford obviously now plays on that left-hand side. Not so long ago, had an ankle injury and had a back injury for us last season. And he was out for a couple of months. Mason Greenwood, he hasn't had a bad start to this season, to be honest with you. I think Greenwood's a very, very good player. We've had issues with him, obviously. He's been withdrawn from Gareth Southgate's England squad. We had a few issues with him before we kicked the season off. We know now, though, that Mason Greenwood currently wears the number 11 for us now. He's the fourth Manchester United player to wear the number 11. Martial, he hasn't had good starts this season, but I thought last season he was exceptional under Solsjaer. Martial's had 2 good seasons, because he was also very, very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial currently plays in that number 9 now, doesn't he? Even though it isn't his predominant position, but he seems to be effective in that central position, doesn't he? So yeah, there's players at Manchester United that are not good enough, but we've still got some good players. That's what I will say. But yeah, let's see what Alex Telles and Edison Cavani can do. Probably won't change much, to be honest with you. Yeah. But this season is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season as Manchester United manager. And I was saying to you, wasn't I, before this season started, what would represent a good season for Man United, and that would be to finish in the top 4, maybe finish in the top 2 or top 3, and win a trophy. And the way things are going at the moment, we're not going to do this, are we? I said Solskjaer's got to exceed his expectations this season if he is to keep his job at Manchester United. I definitely want us to win a trophy, because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. Solskjaer was saying prior to this season starting that he had a lot of confidence going on into this season. Because let's be honest, we've had some good periods under him. We went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. We went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the league till Palace beating us on the opening day. We did well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager, don't forget. And reflect on what he did when he was the interim manager. We give him the job permanently in March last year. I always said, we did give Solskjaer the job too early. But to be fair, last season, Solskjaer did exceed most of his expectations. He progressed us to 3 semi-finals. We got qualification for the Champions League. We also finished 3rd, second highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, isn't it? But to be honest with you, I don't think he's the right manager for Manchester United. Already lost 2 games in the league, and we've only played 3 league games so far. It's the first time we've lost our first 2 home games in the league in 34 years. Because we lost to Palace on the opening day 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995. And we lost to Tottenham yesterday by 6-1. I think that was Tottenham's biggest ever away win. Solskjaer gave his perception on the game and said, it is his worst day in his managerial career, but it's not the worst thing ever in Manchester United's history. He still believes that we will bounce back. Like I said, the last time we lost at Old Trafford 6-1 before yesterday was to Manchester City back in 2011, which is a good 9 years or so ago now. But, from a Tottenham perspective, they'll be delighted. Jose Mourinho's obviously got one over Solskjaer. And no one expected 6-1. But there again, no one expected Aston Villa to beat Liverpool by 7-2. So where do Manchester United go from here? Now, if we do decide to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who comes in to replace him? That is the question. Now, I think there's a lot of Manchester United fans that are demanding Mauricio Pochettino in. I like Pochettino. I think he'd do well if he came to Man United, to be honest with you. Pochettino's well proven in the Premier League. He did enjoy 5.5 years with Tottenham. Did obviously get them to the Champions League final in 2018, don't forget. I think that was Tottenham's first ever Champions League final. But my element of concern about Pochettino is that he's not won out in terms of silverware. Allegri, would you take him in? Would you take Zinedine Zidane in? I just think we need a manager in who will suit the stature of the club, and we need a manager in with a proven pedigree, such as a Jurgen Klopp or a Pep Guardiola, for prime example. Solskjaer, I think, has just got under 2 years left on his current contract at Manchester United. But Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree, has he? Has hardly won out in terms of silver. I only won a couple of Norwegian titles when he was at Mould. His record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. His record at Manchester United isn't good. He has won 50-odd games as Man United manager in the 90-odd he's managed. But if we do sack Solskjaer, he will be the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson. That was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And in the last 7 years, we've only won 3 trophies. That was the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup under Jose Mourinho, wasn't it? We've not won the Premier League title since 2013. So we haven't won it for a good 7 years or so now. We're still the most successful team in Premier League history because we have won 20 titles and, 13 of them are Premier League titles. So, yeah. But not all of the blame stems from the manager. It really, really doesn't, because, Solskjaer is inheriting a lot of players here from other managerial eras. There's only around 7 or 8 players that are who he's brought in so far. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.